I welcome all the participants once again in this session. This is the session 4 of week 11. So here we are started discussing on the different tools of PRA PLA technique. We have done with all the physical mapping or the mobility mapping or the transit walk. Now we are going to start the time related tools, where the important ones are like the timeline, trend analysis, daily schedule, seasonality diagram. So these are some very common kind of the PRA tools, and all the PRA time related PRA method assist in exploring the temporal dimensions of the people's realities. So timeline let's start with the timeline. I'm sorry, it's written 2, but it has to be written 1. So timeline is also known as the historical mapping. Historical timeline helps to record the key positive and negative events and trends in the history. The timeline with basic events can be used for focused discussion on problems, social and technological innovations, or on communities' history or cooperation and activities which help them to solve in the past problems successfully. So it's about that how the community has been evolved, how the different resources has been developed and been coming into the community and that came into the community. So these are the things, and any kind of the issues, challenges which has been emerged into some community. So that all have to put it in a temporal zone, in a time zone. So application, how the use of this timeline, like learn about important events in the community from past, and then understand the community's historical perspective on current realities, generate a discussion on about how different aspects of their lives have transformed over time, like in the education, in the health, in food security, gender relation. So you can make a comprehensive timeline also, where you can put add all those aspects, or with a year wise, or you can take if you have to go on a very specific topic for some very specific project, so you can take only one that aspect. Maybe it could be on health aspects from this time, what are the health resources available. Okay, the first PSCs has been established in this year, and once first CSCs has been established this year. After the NRHM program, the ASHA is coming into the area in this year. After this, or ICDS and Anganwadi has been established in this. So and the kind of the diseases, one side you can put it the resources, and another side of the timeline you can put it the issues and then problems which has been emerged into that area. So, or even the kind of the resources you can also add it into that area. How to do it? The practically. So engage a group of community members. Usually usually it's a guideline that to make a timeline, it's better to involve any elderly into the community, leaders or youth, or whoever is having the all the kind of experiences, and then having all kind of who have passed in that community since the time very long. So it's always better to ask from the elderly people. Decide on time span. So how long time you have taken to develop the timeline. So depending again upon the kind of the projects and then goals of the PRA. So it could be of 10 years or 20 years, last 10 years you have to develop the timeline of the last 20 years or of the last 50 years. So again, it could vary. Ask participants to recall significant events like the natural disasters if any happened, like the drought happened in India in the 1960s and all, and the disasters, infrastructure development or policy changes. That is what are significant events. So year wise they can put other milestones happening into the community. Changes in social and economic condition like migration, livelihood pattern, how it has been changed into that community. It could be a cultural milestone, then festivals, community achievements, how it has been there happened in the community. So draw the timeline, use either horizontal or vertical. So anyways you can develop either up down to up to or up bottom to up, or top to bottom, or it could be like from here to from here. So anyways you can have to draw the timeline either in a vertical level or in the horizontal way. But the events has to be written in the chronological order from starting from the 1990. So it has to go to 1995 and 1990. Again you can make a gap of 5 years or 2 years or 10 years depending upon the, again if you have to draw the timeline of 10 years only, so you can have to make a gaps or intervals of 2 years, or if you have to make a timeline of 50 years, so definitely your gap should be more and of 5 years or 10 years. So it is up to the demands of that time, or and then depending upon the kind of the projects you are. So then analysis. Analysis is what? Identifying recurring pattern or trends, frequent drought or migration, examine how past events influences the present, use the timeline for basic planning future activities. So on the basis of this whole analysis of this, you can be more able to understand what is the past of the community, and how, if it is this they could react into the future, means how, what are the resources they have, so that they can actually plan for the future and all. So here, just to bring one just to show you. So like I have used a bottom top to down way. So you can also up to down to up way, or you can also as like arrows like this. So here maybe it started from 1990 to 1999 to 2005 to 2010, and then in these timelines you have to mention what the changes, or here like you have to mention the what the changes the community is having. So you can also use this like that. If you don't write 2 years here in a very so here like this, and you can put the events which has happened there, maybe if you have to develop a timeline of any slum area, so when they have to migrated, so migration happened into that area. So started with maybe the 10 families in the 1990s, or after 1990s, that people have migrated, maybe the 10 families or 20 families or 100 families in one area. And then after a certain period of time, after 10 years, more community members have started coming there, and then from their own areas or from the different areas. So it became bigger areas, converted from slum to the normal settlements. So maybe the more than 100 or 200 families started settling here, and then first school has been established. Maybe the very first ICDS or Anganwadi has been established. So that way you have to draw and develop the whole timeline, and you can, after looking into into this, you can better in a position to understand what is happening in the past into that community, how they have overcome from these problems, or what are the resources available them, how old those resources are, and then accordingly you can anticipate and you can develop for their future planning. Next, time related tools is the trend analysis. So this trend analysis also, you could say that an extension of this timeline. So a trend analysis captures changes and trends related to certain values or variables over different span of time, such as exercise, investigate the trends in crop yield, livestock, population, rainfall, diseases, illness, kind of livelihood patterns, and provides meaningful insights into the dynamics of change within a community. It happened, right? So an aspect of the technical analysis that tries to predict the future movements of stock based on past data. So it's usually trend analysis has also been done in the management field by the corporate worlds. So after understanding the trend of any product or the purchasing capacity of the market, so they have developed the future, they can bring some changes into their future product, or accordingly they launch the products into the community. Same way we have used this trend analysis under the PLA technique. So after understanding the kind of the trends happening into that community, we can predict the future, and we can understand that how the community has changed into that particular aspect. So understand how the community perceive changes that have occurred over the certain period of time. Again, you have to take the different time span of the 10 years, of the 20 years or 50 years, depending upon the project or the demand of the project. Explore problems that have become more pressing in the village and why, and then discuss development intervention that have taken place in the past and analyze the changes they have triggered. How to do it? So how practically you have to develop this all trend analysis. So discussion can be extended to understand the change in the context of the management of maybe the forest or the forest product, or the lands, or the livelihood pattern, or the cropping pattern. Anyways, even of the health pattern into that community. Set a time frame, decided on the time frame of for analysis, such as the 5, 10 or 50, 20 years or 50 years. Gather data, use group discussion to get the idea of the trends of that area. So you can also use the group discussion, historical recalls. You have to ask them, just okay, just tell me what happened in that year. If you have to ask to develop the trend analysis of the disease, you can also go with the some kind of the year wise, or even the same year you can also draft the whole thing. So that is somehow is related to the seasonality diagram. But here, if once you talk about the trend analysis, so you can understand the trends, if it is happening in the past, so it's same way it is going to the future. So that is what. So engage older members of the community for insight into the past trends. So that's, I've already told you, that it's an extension of the timeline. Create a timeline along the x-axis representing the years, and y-axis indicate the indicate the levels, such as the quantity, quality, or intensity of whatever you have developing. Even if you have to develop the rainfall, so how the frequency of the rainfall has been changed, and then quantity of the rainfall has been changed, and then agricultural yields, how the quantity and the quality have been changed. So depending upon the things which you have to put to analyze in the trend, analyze the trends of that thing. Use color codes, symbols, or lines to represent different trends. So that I'll just tell you. So here I just to bring one timeline here. So like the crop yields, so that is depicted by green. So the crop yields, if I see that in the x-axis there, I have shown the timeline. In the y-axis, I have shown the frequency, that and the different colors has shown the signifies the different aspect. Like the green shows the crop yielding, blue line shows the rainfall into that area, red maybe showing the livelihood opportunity into that area. So if you look into the green, so how, I mean, initially it is declining, and then it is progressing. So you can understand the overall trend. So by understanding this trend, you can understand that this community is having that whole potential to enhance their overall crop yielding. Next is blue, is about the rainfall. Maybe you just see that how the rainfall has from year 2002 onwards. So I mean, again, you have to develop your own way of your timeline. I mean, this scale could be very, it can take by 20 years, 10 years, 50 years, depending upon the objective of the projects. So if you see the here in the rainfall, how it is declining, right? So it is declining from the year like 2000, 2005, 7, 10, 12. It is continuously declining, and these are the frequencies 30, 40, 50, 60, and see that frequency has been declining from it started from the 100 to 90 to 80 to 70 to 60 to 50. So overall the rainfall in that area has been declined. So that is a negative aspect which you can find, and then you can understand and predict that in the coming years it could be like the things became more worsened in terms of the rainfall, and then water scarcity could be possible happen in the coming years. And then livelihood opportunities, here I have depicted it with the red colors. So it has been increased into the community, or maybe apart from the livelihood opportunity, I could make a migration, because if the rainfall is declining, crop yielding is earlier declining, but it goes up, and then you could ask how it happened that. So even the rainfall is declining, so if there maybe it could be because of some resources which has been given by the government, or sometime the community they themselves actually have developed some kind of the some kind of the mechanism, like they have developed to carry the waters, and to maybe they use the pumps and also to irrigate their farms and all. So migration, if I just give an example of migration, so if the migration, so with the red line, so you see that how the migration trend has been increased into that area. It could be possible, and usually it happened mainly in the rural areas of India. The migration is happening, and it happened means it has been increased. That's why you see that the high population, the urban areas, and then slum culture, how the slum culture has been developed into the urban areas. I hope you understand this trend analysis. I just have to bring one very official kind of the same map. So next is about tool under the time related techniques of the PRA. So that is about a seasonality calendar, or it is also known as a seasonality diagram. It is used to understand in livelihood conditions, income availability, diseases, expenditure, and other entitlements of the poor across the year or different periods of the time. of the 1 year, right? So seasonal calendars are often drawn on the ground with the relative trends depicted using stones or seeds in a preference ranking matrix. In other instances, simple line graph can be drawn to show seasonal increases or decreases of any aspect. A whole series of seasonal variables can be included in one calendar to give an overview of the situation throughout the year. So it's where it is actually been applied. So seasonal diagrams actually helps to identify and analyze the overall livelihood pattern of any area. So it's about the heavy workload periods in which months they are very much busy in some kind of the cropping or anything. Periods of relative ease, in which period they are more free, they have more free time. Time of debt, in which months they are in they are taking money from the money lenders. So with the analysis of this all, you can actually introduce the SHGs or microfinance into that community, introducing into those months where they have more free time, as well as the time when they are more prone to take the in the debts. I mean, to take the money from the money lenders to buy some seeds and this all. So you just have to anticipate and develop. After developing this whole seasonality diagram, you will be more able to understand in which period of the time of the year you have to introduce the SHGs, when they can understand it more easily. So when they are in the free times, you introduce those, and then the time of the debt would come, they have their own money in their own hands. So it will be easy for them after 5 months or 6 months when the issue would arises of getting the money, and they are in a in a such situation. So they can take the money from their own, I mean, from the SHG groups only. I mean, definitely initially it could not be linked with the banks, but they can have their own money which they have developed and pool after they're developing the SHG and self-help groups within a community. So that is what the very beautiful application of seasonality diagram. It is helpful in tool when planning interventions, so that all one can understand prime periods of stress and ideal time frame for the project implementation that I've already mentioned. Seasonal calendars have also been used to discuss diversification of income by examining the difference in income sources and expenditure throughout the year, from which field they are getting, I mean, from which livelihood they are getting more, and from which livelihood they are getting less. So you can also analyze those. In general, seasonal diagram focuses on livelihood and can be very useful in evaluating income, expenditure, etc. How to do it practically? So decide what aspect of seasonality you have to analyze. First thing, either you have to do it for the income pattern or the crop cycles or the rainfall or the health challenges. Bringing all the things together in one map is create a lot of the confusion. So it's always better to have very specifically go with the 1 and 2, or maybe taking 1 or 2 things together, or 1, 2, 3 things together, not so much things together, right? So again, it's also depends upon the project's requirements and the project's objectives. So gather participation from the community who are familiar with the annual cycle. Use visual aids like sticks, stones, or markers to collaborative map to develop a map. Divide it the whole year into the months. It could be the dry, wet, or you can also use the usually use the kind of months they use in the general in the rural areas. Like I've been working with the tribal community or with the scheduled caste communities. So once we have developed this whole seasonality diagram, so we use the month which they actually told us. So in their own, right now I just forget those months, but even if we go into the urban areas, and now in the rural areas which is near to the cities and all, so they all follow the January, February, March, April. So you can use the January, February, March, April, or even you can use the different type and different sets of the months which has been used by the committee members itself, right? And many times you can also use the festivals timing and festival cycles, and then plantation seasons. That is also the way the committee members of the rural communities actually identify the months. Discuss the notes, high and low periods for the selected topic, cause and effect of these variations, possible the solution to address the challenges identified, and share the result with the larger community to ensure accuracy and relevance. Okay, this is the period when you are more free, because they themselves never, many a time they don't realize, okay, these are the month, these are the times which we can do a different thing. So although the community members in another way, though so intelligent, because they have a lot of indigenous information and indigenous, the way of living, so they know that many things which we are not aware about. So that's why it's a PLA techniques talks about the role reversal, and also the learning while doing, and also learning from them. So after developing the seasonality diagram, we are more able to understand the time when they are more free, when they are more in stress and trouble, when they are more having money. So accordingly, you can intervene into those areas. So I just have to bring someone's seasonality diagram. So here it's about April, May, June, July, August, October, November, December, January, February, March. So accordingly, as per the requirement of the things it has been developed, the crop pattern, the loan, and you can, what is important here, that you use maybe the pebbles or the leaves to show the different things. Maybe for like for diseases, you can use the pebbles. So maybe in the January, February, these are the months when the diseases are there, or in the July, August, people are more having the issues, or in the month of November, October, November, so they are more fever. Right, so you can put it the as the part of the committee says that in this month we have the people are more sick and people are having lot more issues of health issues, so you have to added those stones in the April, May. No, I mean these are the okay months, so you just only few diseases is happening in these areas. And then again, as like in this it's about the loan, and then migration, seasonal migration. So in which month the migration happened, so you can depict the migration with the help of maybe with the help of any leaves. So you can put the maybe they are usually the seasonal seasonal migration happened after the sowing the seeds and all, that when the time is free from the cultivation, they usually migrated. So in whichever month in that area, so you have to put it the leaves in which month, or maybe depending upon in which one they are more prone to, or they are more possibility of migrations happen. So this way you can develop the whole mapping. So using the different indicators, different keys, or by using different, maybe with different kind of the colors as it is prepared in a chart, you can prepare initially on the ground and using the different things and put it over there. And this actually is very interesting to develop the seasonality diagram with the community members using the different things. So which is available into the community, or using some kinds of the colors. You can also put some colors, you can use some kind of the indigenous thing, grasses and leaves and the pebbles and chalks and all, and whatever the things which has been provided with by the community. Many times you just ask, okay, bring this, and so they themselves have actually bring the lot of the thing, right? So this way you can develop the seasonality diagram. Now next is about the daily on schedule calendar. It's about seasonality as is of the whole year. So daily calendar is about the one day and every day is the activity on which the community members are involved. This is also, it's about to the workload analysis. This is about the many times you also do it with for the gender analysis, and then interventional planning accordingly you can do. So what is actually daily schedule or daily calendar? So daily schedule is a diagram to show an individual's pattern of labor over the course of a day. This usually shows the type and distribution of workload and enable comparison to be made between men and women. If you have to make two different sets of daily calendar, usually it is been done to just to have a look into that, how the males has been involved into some activities, how the females are being involved into different activities, and what are the times when both the genders are free. So accordingly you can intervene into those period of the time, and you can use their time and assist them into that period of the time. So how to do it? So like this is again the question. So gather participant from the community, diverse groups like men, women, farmers, youth, etc. It could be anyone depending upon the needs of the project. And what you have to start discussing, that ask participants about their typical life and the typical day, that how you start your day after getting up, what you do the first, and at what time you are going to sleep, and everything from waking up to the sleep. So when do they wake up, what the activities do they perform in the whole day, how much time is actually spent on each activity. This is very important, right? And draw the schedule, encourage them to share activities hour by hour or by time blocks, like morning, after afternoon, evening, night. Or you can also make some hours, like 2 hours gap or 3 hours gap or 1 hour gap. And this draw the schedule maybe in a circle ways. Also you can hourly you can divide the whole and develop the table, right? So both way you can develop the daily chart or daily calendar. Divide into segments representing activities with the size of each segment proportionate to the time spent. If you spend more time in a one activity, you have your circle would be shows the larger gap, right? So alternatively, create a tabular form. I mean, this I've already told you. Either you have to make it a circular form or a tabular form. Analyze pattern. Discuss observation. Who has more time or free time or leisure time? Are there periods of peak workload or overlap? What are the difference between weekdays and weekends, if any? I do remember, before coming into into this cycle, I do remember in working in one community. Usually, we do ask to the community members in one Rajasthan village. So we'd ask that how much you people are with the first started with the male. So how much what kind of the activities you are involved into I mean throughout the day, and how your women's are engaged, because that time the women were not that time in that meeting. So when the team members just asked how your female counterparts has been involved and spent into the whole time. So they responded like, we are more engaged. Definitely, the women's are doing the how cooking and all. So it was just a cooking things and managing the children. And they have said their own ways, like we have start doing this and this and this and this. We didn't started making the whole chart, but in just a discussion. So while started asking about this question, we have also put it some pebbles, like okay, what you have done at what time, okay, this, and then and then and then this is somehow little different from the daily chart. I just have to and then putting the pebbles. After discussion of all the kind of activities they talk about, it appeared very visually that females are doing more work, more kind, I mean, they are involved in different types of the activities. Although males were also doing a lot of the work, I mean, they are busy in their livelihoods and all, even though they didn't even understand the worth of the females they are putting into and the kind of the activities they are involved into. So now after looking into and visualize this, they were like laughing and they said, yes, we do agree and we do accept that our females are also doing very lot of the jobs, lot of the works. So this is what the beauty of the visualization and beauty of the PRA technique. So I just have to come back again in the daily schedule calendar. So it was related to that. So as like the women in the summers, from like they maybe get up at 5, and then this is the sleeping time. In the winter, this is the sleeping time. Maybe in a winter, they get up in 6 o'clock till 6 or till 7, what they do, till 8, what they're doing, maybe cooking and all, cooking, and then washing the clothes, fetching water. Same way, in the winters, you can also develop and how much they are involved into. Alongside, you can also develop a same way of the male. So like it's again, it's a larger period is about the sleeping. Maybe you find that the number of the activities which is done by the males is little, and that doesn't mean that males are not doing that their due. And the females number of circles usually you find, I mean, I'm not giving you any I mean, I'm not judgmental to anything. It has happened that maybe once you will be applied, you maybe you could find, or maybe a different set of the things you will find. And this is what the livelihood they are involved into, after spending the morning time into some some time in the, and to the evening time, some leisure time, and then dinner time. After dinner, they go for to sleep. Same in the winters, maybe get up earlier, involved into in some any kind of the activities, livelihood, maybe the in the agriculture or any allied thing, and then leisure time. So usually, what my observation, usually leisure time is not so much into the female seasonal daily chart, but it was common among the male part, to spending some time with their friends and having some chit chat with friends in some tea shops and all. So that is what. Now, this is after analysis of this all, you will be understand that how this overall the all the kind of the tools is very helpful in analyzing and then developing your projects in a more practical manner, in a more a more concrete manner, and that the way you intervene after having all the information which is correct, which is as per the community information, as per even the community get realized there, maybe they earlier they were not recognized, and then they didn't identify the things, but after your intervention with these all kind of the visual representation of their own thing, they would be more able to understand things more clearly, and they do understand, and then how they can have to change the things altogether. So after understanding the whole timeline, seasonality diagram, and then trend analysis, and then this every methods, either it is of the based on the physicals, either it is based on the timeline, or even coming in the coming session we are going to discuss about the rational or the relationship based methods. So it is actually make the things more easier for the community member to understand and to actually work accordingly. So this is all about the today's presentation. Thank you so much.